My project was how will a daily 5-minute run affect students' pacer fitness test scores and attitudes towards running. The purpose of this study was to determine the effects of a daily 5-minute run on students' pacer fitness test scores and attitudes about running. 6 students in grades 4 through 6 participated in the study. A daily 5-minute run is when students run or jog at a steady pace for 5 minutes. A pre-test and post-test was given to measure students' pacer fitness test scores. Students participated in a survey on their attitudes towards running. The results showed that a daily 5-minute run did not improve or impact students' pacer fitness test scores. Why did I pick the pacer? The pacer is a part of our fitness test curriculum. It is 4 tests: pacer, curl-ups, push-ups, and set and reach. Overall, my students do the worst on the pacer. We practice all 4 tests every day. We do push-ups every day. We do sit-ups every day. We work on our flexibility every day. We are running and moving all day. Yet the pacer is still the worst of the scores. My students don't enjoy running. Unless they're playing a game, they don't want to run. My students have horrible attitudes about running. They think if they're running, they should be playing a tag game. They don't want to run just to run. So for my project, I did a 1-group pre-test and post-test, and that was for my pacer scores. And then I did a single measurement design for my student attitudes. When I started researching pacer and different things, I was coming up kind of empty-handed, so I kind of went with a different route of exercise and running in general. Every website and article I read had something different on the benefits of exercise, a healthier heart, lower risk of diabetes, weight loss, maintaining your weight, feeling better. So there's just a ton of benefits to exercise and running. Running is an aerobic exercise, so our heart rate is increasing. We're using our heart. Just like any muscle in our body, having a healthier heart or using your heart more is going to relate to having a healthier, stronger heart. Just like, your biceps, your triceps, your abdominals, the more you use it, the stronger, the healthier they become. Running is an activity that anyone can participate in, whether you're 5, whether you're 55. Anyone can run. It doesn't matter how fast you run or how long you run, just that you're up and moving and active. I found it interesting that one of the articles I read talked about it doesn't matter how fast or long you run, as long as you're running, you're getting those same effects. So I think that's important just to remember that exercise is exercise, and as long as you're up and doing something, that's going to have a healthy impact on you and your body. So how this worked was all my students in grades 4, 5, and 6 took the pacer. Out of those students, I picked 6 students whose scores did not meet the Healthy Fitness Zone requirement, but were almost there. 2 4th graders, 2 5th graders, 2 6th graders. There was 3 boys and 3 girls. We met every day for 10 days and we ran for 5 minutes. During our run, I would play music, write start and stop time on the board. After our run, we would journal about our experience. How did we feel? What did we do? Did we like it? Did we not like it? What was going on? After our 10 days, we took a post-test pacer. And then after our post-test pacer, we did a survey on our attitudes towards running and towards the experience in general. So here is some of my data. Pre-test are in blue, post-test is in purple. As you can tell, I had 3 students who did not improve PACER scores. They actually went down. I had 1 student who did improve her scores, and then I had, one student whose score stayed the same, and then I had 2 students' scores actually improve. So 3 students who did not improve, actually scores lowered. 1 student whose scores stayed the same, and then 2 students' scores who increased. And actually both of those students met their healthy fitness zone standard by increasing their scores. So after we took our post-test, we did a survey on attitudes towards running, and I felt like I got some pretty real answers. Students journaled every day after we ran. So as we were taking this survey, we kind of looked back through our journal. Okay, what did you do during this day? What did you do during this day? Did you run the whole time? How are you feeling? So students did look back. So I feel like I got some truthful and honest answers. I did think that 2 out of the 4 students who said they enjoyed running, I think that this is something that they'll continue to do and have really found a passion in an exercise. As you can tell from our data slide, that no real impact was made. Half the students either stayed the same or improved their test scores. Half the students' scores were lower on their post-test than their pre-test. So no real impact or, was made from doing the daily 5-minute run on PACER scores. As I look back over my test, I don't think that this was a fair test to do. The way we practice and the way the PACER actually is 2 different things. And as I was reflecting back, I realized, when we were running daily, we were doing laps around the gym for 5 minutes at a steady pace. When students run the PACER, they run baseline to baseline, and their pace increases. It doesn't stay the same. After every 7 or 8 laps, their pace increases. So I don't think this was a fair assessment to do on students. I always assume that running is running, which I'm a runner, so I think that's a pretty fair estimate or pretty fair opinion I have. However, running's not running. Running at a steady pace is different than, sprinting or having your pace increased over time. I do think a positive came from this study, though. I honestly believe that I have two students for sure who have really grown to love and have a newfound passion in running. And I think that this is something that they'll continue throughout elementary, middle, and high school, and even later in life. I think they'll continue to be runners. So I do take that as a positive away from this study. Like I said, I don't think this was a fair study on what I was measuring, and looking back, I see that. So I would like to do this study again and have students, instead of doing a daily 5-minute run, do interval training where they're sprinting and running baseline to baseline, just like our PACER test does. I think this has huge impact on PE teachers. Obviously I want to improve my students' scores, and this could be a way that I could improve my scores. We're constantly talking about data and tracking student data, and are you growing students? Well, this is an easy way to see, different strategies or interventions that a teacher's doing to help her students grow. And this is just one strategy. There's a ton out there. So I think this would be great to share with your administrator and say, hey, here are the ideas I'm doing to help my students grow. I also think this is great for parents to see what we're working on, that we're trying different strategies. We're not doing the same old, same old. I think it's great for students, not doing the same old again. We're doing something new and different. Overall, I'd like to do the study again, and even though my results didn't come out the way I hoped, I still think there was some positives that came from this of my personal reflection and students.